Yeah, so I was going through my stuff. I realized I don't really have a lot of happy stuff, but I got keyed in on the idea of like sort of the pursuit of happiness. And so I have this novel that I'm sort of working on, and it might fit. It's this guy is sort of heading out to California, to San Francisco actually, in pursuit of sort of a better life. Both of these are very like American things, I think. You know, this pursuit of happiness. It's, you know, no other country really has it, but it's sort of its own curse in a way, because it's, you know, it's not, you're not guaranteed happiness. You're just guaranteed the right to sort of search for it. So one disclaimer: there's a brothel in this, and a brothel isn't my idea of happiness. It's more the idea of like how this pursuit can lead you to some sort of sad and desperate places. So anyway, this is in the middle of a novel, so just this sort of annoying fill you in stuff I need to tell you. I wrote it down. My main character is from Louisiana, like me. That's all we have in common. He just got injured working in an oil rig in the Gulf of Mexico, and so now he's got some time off, and he's driving out to San Francisco, like I said, and he decides to stop off in this little town in Nevada and visit. It's like pay a surprise visit on this guy who was in the military with his brother, and his brother died like 15 years ago. And he met this guy once at his brother's funeral when he was like 14. Part of this trip is to sort of find some answers about that. So anyway, here we go. The city of Battle Mountain sat on either side of a 3-mile strip of flat, high desert highway that ran alongside I-80 in northern Nevada. There wasn't much there, and what was left looked to be slowly dying. The Union Pacific cut through the center of town before continuing on west with the interstate. And the here and there businesses I saw were mostly what I expected: gas stations and trucker motels, a few dingy restaurants, and some sad bar rooms and pocket casinos. Somewhere among its 2,000 residents was living Lionel Pursell. The trailers in Battle Mountain outnumbered houses 3 to 1, and most of them weren't any better than the one I left back in Grand Isle. West of town, the desert rose up into a series of low mountains, scarred by fires and strip mines. And on the high slope of a near foothill, some long ago fool had arranged thousands of whitewashed rocks to spell out BM in enormous block letters. Jesus, the work that must have gone into that. I don't know what battle was ever fought up there in those mountains, but if this town held the winners, I don't ever want to see the place the losers were sent to live. It was late on a Friday evening when I arrived in town, and I spent my first night holed up in a motel/casino/restaurant/bar called the Owl Club. My room had no phone, though inside the nightstand I did find a tattered Lander County phone book lying in between a Bible and the Book of Mormon. I looked up Lionel Pursell's address, but in the morning the leathery woman at the front desk wouldn't help me with directions. "What's there?" she asked. "A man named Lionel Pursell," I said. "What you wantin' with Lionel?" The woman's nose looked like a dried fig, as if God had cursed her for sticking it into everyone's business. I told her that what I wanted with Lionel was between me and Lionel, and she just sneered and walked away. To hell with her. I reckoned I could find him soon enough on my own. I went back to my room, put food out for Sam. That's the dog. Put food out for Sam and took a shower. I just changed into some clean clothes when there was a knock at my door. Lionel Pursell was as big as I remembered him. Tall, every bit of 6'4", and built like a steer rustler. Indeed, he was dressed for a rodeo. He had scuffed Justin Ropers on his feet and a straw cowboy hat on his head. Was wearing dark blue Wranglers and a stiff long-sleeve shirt. He took off his hat when I answered the door. His blonde hair was a lot longer than I had thought with the hat on. He had it tied up in some kind of samurai top knot. "Hey," I said, "I'm Will Vincent." Lionel nodded and then looked past me, searching the dim room with flat gray eyes. He had the same mustache as in his photo on the internet, a thick yellow horseshoe like the one Hulk Hogan sports. There were some flecks of silver in it, and I figured he was in the neighborhood of 45. Those eyes settled back on me. "So," he said, "I'm thinking you're Ahab's kid brother, huh?" I thought Tommy's nickname was Orion, the hunter. At least that's what the SEALs had all told me at the funeral. He was a Navy SEAL. But when he was alive, my brother never said anything to me about a nickname, Orion or otherwise. "You mean Tommy?" I asked. "Right, Tommy." I nodded. Yeah, I'm Will, the little brother. I know, said Lionel. I remember you. He held out his hand, palm up, and I shook it. Sam had been asleep on the cool tile in the bathroom, and he came out then to see who was at the door. Lionel glanced over at him, and his lips formed a thin smile. Come on with me, he said. I'm not letting the two of you stay in this shithole.